Imagine, on our son's wedding day, my wife and I approach the entrance and see our photo with the caption, "Don't let these two in." We silently turned around and left. 2 hours later, he realized that at that moment, his wedding, and the balance between love, betrayal, and justice, was over. Before we continue, please subscribe to the channel and let us know where you are listening in the comments. The taxi dropped us at the Sentinel's entrance at 5:45. Cora smoothed her cream dress one more time, the fabric catching the late afternoon sun. I adjusted my tie, navy silk, the one she'd given me for our 40th anniversary. Inside the lobby, wedding guests clustered in small groups, their voices bouncing off the marble floors. Someone laughed, someone else clinked champagne flutes at the bar. The grand ballroom entrance stood 50 feet ahead. That's when I saw them. 2 portrait-sized photographs mounted on brass easels. Professional quality, the kind you'd see at a corporate event. On the left, my face from our Christmas card 2 years ago. On the right, Cora's face, same photo. Below each portrait, printed in bold Helvetica, impossible to miss. Do not allow these two inside. My hand froze halfway to the door handle. The brass felt cold under my fingertips before I even touched it. A security guard stood beside the portraits, maybe 22 years old, shifting his weight from foot to foot. Kid probably took this job to cover rent. Now, he had to enforce a ban on a guy old enough to be his grandfather. His eyes darted between us and the floor. He cleared his throat once, then again. Sir, ma'am, I'm supposed to... You're doing your job." Cora's fingers found mine and squeezed once. We'd been married 43 years. I knew what that squeeze meant. She straightened her spine, lifted her chin, the same posture she used during her final runway show in 1994, before she retired from costume design. We turned together, our steps synchronized, and walked back through the lobby, not rushed, not slow, just measured theatrical dignity. Behind us, someone whispered. I caught fragments. "Aren't those the groom's parents? Eulalia said they were..." The doorman called us a taxi without being asked, probably read the situation from our faces. Inside the cab, the driver adjusted his rear-view mirror, glancing at us. "The Sentinel, right? Nice place. Wedding? Was supposed to be." Cora stared out her window. I watched her jaw muscles work, clenching and releasing, the only crack in her composure. The driver tried again. "Traffic's light for a Saturday. Should be a quick..." "Fletcher, they put our faces on a wanted poster at our son's wedding." "I know. Like we're criminals. Like we're..." My voice dropped. "Trash." The driver went silent, turned up the radio. Some pop song about love lasting forever. I snorted. Irony. My phone sat in my jacket pocket. I pulled it out, scrolled through messages. There it was, from Keenan at 5:30. "On our way to venue. Can't wait to see you guys." My hands started shaking. The phone trembled between my palms. Then something shifted. The shaking stopped. My breathing steadied. I felt my face settle into a mask I hadn't worn in years. The one I used during crisis management on opening nights. 40 years I'd made events happen. Galas, weddings, corporate shows, product launches, benefits. I'd produced Shakespeare in the Park and black tie auctions. I knew every vendor in this city, every caterer, every florist, every equipment supplier. They forgot who they were dealing with. "Fletcher?" Cora's voice was quiet. "What are you thinking?" "I'm thinking they want a memorable wedding." I scrolled through my contacts, stopped at one name. Carl AV Equipment. They'll get one. The taxi pulled up to our building on Northwest Thurman. Red brick, 5 stories, built in the 20s. We'd lived here since Faye was born. Cora paid the driver, tipped him extra. I sat there, phone in hand, staring at Carl's name. Cora stood on the sidewalk, waiting. I looked at her through the window. "I need 2 hours. Can you give me 2 hours before you talk me out of this?" The pause stretched. A bicycle passed. Someone walked a dog. Then, "I'm not going to talk you out of it." My eyes widened. I'd expected an argument, a reminder that Keenan was still our son, a plea for taking the high road. She walked toward the building without looking back, her cream dress disappearing through the entrance. I sat in the taxi, finger hovering over Carl's number. The driver cleared his throat. "You getting out or..." "Yeah." I climbed out, handed him a 20. "Keep it." Inside our lobby, I took the elevator alone, 3rd floor. Our door was open. Cora never locked it when she knew I was right behind her. The apartment smelled like the coffee we'd made that morning, back when we thought we'd be dancing at our son's wedding in a few hours. I walked straight to my office. The 2nd bedroom, converted 15 years ago when we didn't need it anymore. Desk, filing cabinet, bookshelf, and on the desk, my old Rolodex. Black leather, worn at the edges, filled with cards I'd collected since 1985. Some people think it's outdated. They're wrong. It's a weapon. I sat down, pulled the Rolodex close, grabbed a yellow legal pad and pen, started writing names. Carl, Nina, Paula, Jerry, Marco. Vendors I'd worked with for decades. Vendors who owed me favors. Vendors who remembered when I gave them their first break. Cora appeared in the doorway, still in her dress, heels off now, barefoot. She perched on the small sofa against the wall. "You're really doing this. You saw those portraits." "I saw them. But Fletcher, he's still our son." I didn't look up from the Rolodex. My finger traced down the cards, stopping at certain names. Who put his parents' faces on a "do not enter" sign on his wedding day? Eulalia. Keenan approved it. Had to. Those portraits were at the main entrance. I flipped another card. He chose her over us. The silence stretched. Outside, a siren wailed in the distance. "So you're choosing revenge over him?" I finally looked up. "I'm choosing dignity. There's a difference." My watch read 6:15. The ceremony would be starting. They'd be exchanging vows right now. My son marrying a woman who turned him into someone I didn't recognize. I picked up my phone and called Carl. The phone rang twice before Carl picked up. I closed my eyes, took a breath, then let my voice shift into the warm, professional tone I'd perfected over 4 decades. "Carl? Fletcher Yates. How's business?" "Fletcher! Jesus, hasn't been a year since we talked. What's up?" On speakerphone, his voice filled my small office. Cora tucked her feet under herself on the sofa, watching me. "You remember the Sentinel Hotel, downtown?" "Sure, we do their events. Actually, got a wedding there tonight. Big setup." "I know, it's my son's wedding." "No shit? Congrats, man. Wait, why aren't you—" "That's complicated. Listen, Carl, you remember the Williamson Gala, 2001? Pause. I could hear him thinking. "You gave me that contract, first major event, changed my whole business. I believed in you. You delivered." Another pause. I let it sit there. "I need something tonight." "Name it. Nothing illegal, nothing dangerous, but I need technical difficulties, sound system, maybe some delay on the lighting cues." The silence stretched longer this time. I watched the second hand on my desk clock tick. 15 seconds, 20. "Fletcher, what happened?" "They put photos of me and Cora at the entrance. Do not allow these two inside." "They, what? At your son's own? Can you help me?" I heard him exhale, long and slow. "DJ Marco's running sound. He owes me. I'll tell him his equipment's temperamental tonight." "Thank you." "Fletcher, I'm sorry. That's fucked up." Coming from Carl, who'd served 2 tours in Iraq, who'd seen genuine horrors, that assessment felt like validation. I hung up, made a checkmark on my legal pad. The pen pressed harder into the paper than I'd intended. Dark line. Almost tore through. "One down," Cora said quietly. I flipped through the Rolodex again, found Nina's card. Photographer, worked weddings and corporate events. I'd mentored her through her first 5 bookings back in 2010. She'd been terrified, fresh out of art school, convinced she'd ruin someone's wedding day. I dialed. She answered on the 4th ring. "Nina, I need a favor. Remember who mentored you through your first 5 weddings?" Her voice came through cautious. "What kind of favor?" "The kind where memory cards mysteriously corrupt. Just some photos, not all." "Whose wedding?" "My son's. And before you ask, yes, there's a reason." I explained, kept it brief, the portraits, the ban, the humiliation. Nina swore under her breath. "Family photos?" she asked. "Your discretion." "Consider it done. Eulalia treated my assistant like garbage last month at a consultation. Didn't even remember the girl's name." Second check mark, darker than the first. My watch read 6:30. They'd be done with the ceremony now. Cocktail hour starting. Guests mingling, waiters circulating with champagne and bacon-wrapped dates. I pulled up my text messages, found Paula's number. She ran Emerald City Florals, had done arrangements for half the major events in Portland over the last 20 years. Typed, the Yates wedding tonight at Sentinel. Yvonne Crane, MOB, severe lily allergy. Might want to double-check flower selection. The reply came in 30 seconds. Oh my God, they ordered lilies for centerpieces. I flagged it, but Eulalia overruled me. Me? Shame if those made it into the venue. Paula. I'll make sure they do. Eulalia treated my staff like servants. 3 calls, 3 yeses. 40 years of not being an asshole was paying dividends. Keenan could learn something from that. If he was speaking to me, which, technically, we never weren't speaking since we never had a conversation about being banned from his wedding. Funny how that works. My phone rang. Faye's name flashed on the screen. I glanced at Cora. She grabbed the phone before I could answer, hit the speaker button. Mom, I've been texting Keenan for an hour. He's not responding. What's happening? Cora's voice cracked for the first time since we left the Sentinel. We didn't go to the wedding, sweetheart. What? Why? They put our photos at the door, like a banned list. Silence. Then an explosion. They what? Keenan approved that? Must have. That absolute... Faye stopped herself. Dad, what are you doing? I took the phone from Cora. What I should have done when they cut us out of planning, when they forgot to include us in the rehearsal dinner. Need help? I've got friends who are wicked with social media. We could... Not yet, but I'm keeping that in reserve. Cora leaned forward. Faye, how's the baby? Mum, we're talking about your disaster son and his nightmare fiancé. Baby's fine. Focus. Despite everything, I almost smiled. Our daughter, 7,000 miles away in London, ready to deploy social media warfare at 7 in the morning, her time. She'd woken up early to check on us. We're fine, sweetheart, I said. Go back to bed. Like hell. Keep me posted. She hung up. Cora looked at my list of vendors, the check marks, the names still uncalled. You're not touching the food, right? People have allergies. Even in revenge, she worried about liability. That was marriage. Just technical difficulties, natural problems, the kind that happen at every event. I set down my pen. Nobody gets hurt. My phone buzzed. Text from Carl. Marco reports sound system acting up. Ceremony music was rough. I showed Cora. She read it, face unreadable. Then her mouth twitched. Not quite a smile, but close. I'm a terrible mother. No, you're a mother who raised her son to know better. He chose to forget. Another buzz. Nina? Memory card corrupted during family photos. Offering discount reshoot. They're not happy. I stood, joints cracking. Walked to the window overlooking Northwest Thurman. Saturday evening, people heading to dinner, to bars, to normal lives where their children didn't post their photos like mugshots. My reflection stared back at me from the glass. 69 years old, navy suit. Tie slightly loosened now, face harder than I remembered. Cora appeared beside me. Is it done? Now we wait. My watch read 7:15. First dance would be around 8. Dinner service starting soon. I imagined Eulalia in her dress, probably custom Vera Wang, discovering that the sound system kept cutting out, that half the family photos were corrupted, that her mother was breaking out in hives from the lily centerpieces, technical difficulties, the kind that plague every event. My phone rang. Keenan's name flashed on screen. First call since the portraits. Cora went rigid beside me. We both stared at the phone as it rang, and rang. The sound filled the office, insistent, demanding. My finger hovered over the red decline button. What are you going to say? Cora whispered. I don't know yet. The phone kept ringing. Through the window, I watched a couple walk past, holding hands, laughing about something. Normal people, normal Saturday, normal lives. The ringing stopped, went to voicemail. I waited. 10 seconds, 20, 30. The phone buzzed. Voicemail notification. I hit play, put it on speaker. Keenan's voice came through tight, stressed. Background noise, music, conversation. The chaos of a wedding reception in full swing. Dad, call me back. We need to talk. Everything's... Just call me. He hung up without saying goodbye. Cora's eyes met mine. He sounds... panicked. You're not calling him back. It wasn't a question. I looked at my legal pad, at the check marks. at the names of people who would help me tonight because I'd helped them first. Because I'd built relationships based on respect, not control. Because I'd spent 40 years learning that how you treat people matters. Lessons my son had forgotten. Not yet, I said. Let him wait, like we waited outside that ballroom. The bartender at Huber's Cafe looked at our formal clothes, then at my phone, vibrating for the 8th time in 20 minutes. You two celebrating something? I glanced down at my navy suit, still crisp despite the evening's chaos. Wedding. Congrats, whose? My son's. His confusion played across his face in slow motion. And you're here? Long story. Not that long, I said. My phone buzzed again. We were invited, then we weren't. The bartender retreated like I'd told him someone died, which, in a way, someone had. The version of my son who used to call me every Sunday. Gone. Cora sat beside me, still in her cream dress, glass of wine untouched. We'd walked the 4 blocks from our condo to this bar because sitting at home, waiting felt impossible. At least here, we had mahogany and dim lighting and the comfortable anonymity of strangers. My phone lit up. Text from Nina. Ceremony photos corrupted, card formatting error, have about 12 usable shots from 50 plus. Couple is upset. Offering discount reshoot. I type back. Unfortunate accident. Very unfortunate. Coordinator already asking about backup photographer. Woman is good. I showed Cora. She read it, said nothing, went back to tracing the rim of her wine glass. Same circular motion, over and over. Physical manifestation of anxiety I'd seen 100 times in 43 years. Another text, this one from Carl. Marco says coordinator found backup DJ. Guy's setting up now. She moves fast. Madison, the wedding coordinator. I'd seen her name on the vendor list months ago when Keenan first shared the planning spreadsheet. Back when we were still included in family conversations. That coordinator, Cora said quietly. Madison, she's fixing things. Can't fix everything. She's trained for this, crisis management. She finally looked at me. You underestimate her, and one person can't save the Titanic. Too many moving parts. Cora's voice went sharp. You're not sinking the Titanic. You're sabotaging your son's wedding. The bartender was suddenly very interested in polishing glasses at the far end of the bar. I took a long drink. The old-fashioned burned going down, familiar and grounding. He sabotaged his relationship with his parents. I'm just providing consequences. Cora stood abruptly. I need air. She walked toward the entrance without looking back. Second time tonight she'd done that. I sat alone at the bar, phone face up on the mahogany, watching texts arrive in real time. A wedding disaster unfolding 4 blocks away. And I was monitoring it like a sports game. My phone buzzed. Text from Paula, the florist. Already done, centerpieces on every table. She's going to have a bad night. I'd sent her instructions 20 minutes ago about the lilies, about making sure they were prominent for cocktail hour when Yvonne would be touring the ballroom before dinner service. Another buzz. Carl again. Marco played the bridal entrance music at half speed. Eulalia walked down the aisle to what sounded like a funeral dirge. I laughed. Actual audible laughter. The bartender glanced over, probably wondering if I was having a breakdown. Maybe I was. 40 years I'd produced events, galas, benefits, theatrical productions. I knew the anatomy of disaster because I'd spent my entire career preventing it. Now I was causing it, and every vendor I'd ever helped was playing their part perfectly. Except, Madison was good, better than I'd expected. The text confirmed it. Backup DJ arriving, backup photographer on call, quick problem solving. Modern wedding coordinators weren't just decorative. They were trained crisis managers with contingency plans for contingencies. I pulled out my small notebook, the one I kept in my jacket pocket for quick notes, crossed out sound and photos, stared at the remaining items on my mental list, added flowers, lilies. The plan was already in motion, but seeing Madison's efficiency made me nervous. One person actually could save a lot of things if they were competent enough. I'd built my career on being that person. My phone rang. Keenan's name flashed. I stared at it. Let it ring. 4 times. 5. It went to voicemail. The bartender topped off my drink without asking. I didn't even notice until I took another sip and realized the glass was fuller than it should be. Minutes crawled, Updates kept coming. Marco reported sound system troubles during the ceremony. Check. Nina confirmed photo corruption. Check. But each update also mentioned Madison, the coordinator ninja, parrying every problem I threw at her. I'd knocked out the DJ, she found another. I'd corrupted photos. She was calling backup photographers. This woman probably had a spare wedding cake in her car just in case. My phone buzzed. Paula? Yvonne just walked into ballroom for dinner seating. Lilies everywhere. She hasn't noticed yet. Talking to guests. Wait for it. I showed Cora's empty seat, then realized she was still outside. Another buzz. She's sneezing, eyes watering. Coordinator noticed, moving toward her. I leaned forward on my bar stool, elbows on the bar, eyes locked on my phone screen. Waiting. The bartender asked if I wanted food. I waved him off. Buzz. Yvonne being escorted out, Eulalia following, full meltdown in progress. My hand tightened around my glass. The crystal pressed into my palm, cold and hard. I'd done it. Crossed from inconvenient technical difficulties into actual physical harm. An allergic reaction wasn't just a ruined moment. It was personal suffering, and I couldn't take it back. The door opened. Cora returned, stood behind me, looked over my shoulder at my phone, read Paula's message. Her hand landed on my shoulder, squeezed once. Not comfort, more like acknowledgement. Look what we've done. My phone buzzed again. Paula. Madison removing centerpieces herself. Eulalia screaming at her. Guests starting to film. This is bad. I could hear her from outside, Cora said. Hear who? Eulalia, screaming at the coordinator. The windows are open. I set my phone down, both hands flat on the bar, head bowed. She'll calm down. Will she? Cora sat back down beside me. Because from where I'm standing, we're destroying our son's wedding. He destroyed our relationship first. That makes it okay? An eye for an eye? Makes it fair. Cora's pause stretched long enough that I looked up. Her face was unreadable in the dim bar light. Does it feel fair right now? I didn't answer. Couldn't answer. Because somewhere between monitoring texts and checking off my list, fair had started feeling a lot like wrong. Paula's next text came through at 8:02. Yvonne sneezing nonstop, face getting red. The bartender glanced over. Bad news? Depends on your perspective. Cora sat rigid beside me, still hadn't touched her wine. I was on my third old-fashioned. The alcohol made everything slightly softer around the edges, which was either helping or making everything worse. Paula again. Madison noticed, asking me about flower types. I'm playing dumb. Then, Yvonne can't breathe properly. They're taking her out. Eulalia is losing it. I muttered something under my breath. The bartender heard it, didn't ask for clarification. According to the timeline I'd memorized from months of wedding planning discussions, they should be starting dinner service right now. First course, probably the butternut squash soup Eulalia had insisted on. First dance scheduled for 8:30. My phone showed 8:15 p.m. Nina's text arrived. DJ system down. Total silence during first dance announcement. Madison looking frantic. Keenan and Eulalia just standing there. I typed, "Good." Her response came slower than usual. "Fletcher, couple looks crushed, like actually devastated. You sure about this?" I stared at the message. My thumb hovered over the keyboard. Nina again. "You there?" "I'm sure." But the pause before I responded was too long. Even through text, hesitation shows. 6 guests were apparently live tweeting the wedding disaster. Paula mentioned it in her next update. Hashtag Yates wedding fail was trending locally. I didn't even know Portland had enough people on social media to trend anything. Guess a good train wreck brings everyone together. Marco was killing it, and by it, I meant any remaining hope for a normal reception. According to Carl's report, he'd tapped that dead microphone with the solemnity of a doctor calling time of death. The bartender kept looking at me like I was either about to cry or start a fight. I was doing neither, just a 69-year-old man orchestrating his son's wedding collapse via text message. Totally normal Saturday night. Cora's voice cut through my thoughts. "You're checking off a list, like it's a project." "It is a project. It's our son." I finally looked at her. "Who treated us like criminals?" And now we're acting like criminals, sabotaging his wedding, causing his fiance's mother physical harm. "She's fine. It's just allergies." "You don't know that." Her voice dropped. What if this goes too far? What do you mean? I mean, what's the end game? They suffer, we win, then what? Keenan never speaks to us again? I had no answer, none, because I hadn't thought past tonight, past making the wedding fail, past proving a point. Cora leaned closer. You haven't thought that far, have you? My phone rang. Keenan's name. 9th call since we'd left the Sentinel. He's calling again. Answer it. And say what? I don't know, but you can't ignore him forever. I let it ring, watched his name flash on my screen until it went to voicemail. The notification appeared. New voicemail from Keenan. I didn't listen to it. More texts arrived. The wedding was imploding in real time. Guests whispering, some giggling, phones out everywhere. Madison was trying to remove all the Lily centerpieces herself, recruiting waitstaff to help. Elegant chaos, Paula called it. At 8:25, Carl texted, Marco's equipment completely dead now. Can't fix it without backup gear from his studio. 45-minute drive round trip. The first dance was supposed to be happening right now. Keenan and Eulalia standing in the middle of the ballroom, no music, guests watching, phones recording. I imagined it, the silence, the embarrassment, the slow realization that nothing was going to work tonight. My chest felt tight. Nina? First dance ruined. Check. Cora read over my shoulder. You're actually checking things off. That's what... I know what you're doing. I'm asking if you know what you're doing. I set my phone down, stared at the amber liquid in my glass. The ice had melted, diluting the whiskey. Everything dilutes eventually. What do you want me to say? That you've thought about what happens after tonight. That you have a plan beyond revenge. I have. You have nothing. Her voice cracked. You have a list of vendors and a lot of anger. That's not a plan. That's just destruction. The jukebox in the corner played something bluesy. Smoky voice, slow tempo. Wrong mood entirely. My phone buzzed. Carl? Marco says Keenan just left the ballroom, looked destroyed. Eulalia crying in the bathroom. Madison's asking if you're doing this. She suspects. What do you want me to tell him? I read it twice. Madison knew, or suspected. Either way, my cover was blown. Cora leaned close, read the text. She knows. It's over. It's not over until... My phone rang. Unknown number. Portland area code. I answered without thinking. Hello? Mr. Yates. Woman's voice. Calm, cold, professional. We need to talk. I know what you're doing, and unless you stop right now, I'm informing the couple. You have 10 seconds to decide. Madison. My eyes met Cora's. Her face had gone pale. The bartender polished a glass at the other end of the bar, oblivious. The jukebox switched songs. At Last by Etta James. Ironically perfect. I don't know what you... 8 seconds, Mr. Yates. Carl's a friend, but he's a terrible liar. So is Nina. So is Paula. They're good people who owe you favors, and you're cashing them all in tonight to ruin your son's wedding. The bar felt suddenly too small, too hot. My collar pressed against my throat. 7 seconds, Cora whispered. Fletcher, stop, please. Madison's voice came through sharp. I can't fix this if you keep sabotaging, but I can tell Keenan who's behind it. Your choice. My finger hovered over the phone. End call or negotiate. Admit everything or deny it. My revenge was about to become public. Everything I'd built tonight was collapsing. 6 seconds. I opened my mouth, closed it. 40 years of crisis management, and I couldn't find words. 5 seconds. Mr. Yates, I sympathize. I really do. Those portraits at the entrance were cruel, but this... Her voice softened slightly. This won't fix anything. It'll just destroy what's left. Cora's hand gripped my arm, her nails pressed into my jacket fabric. 4 seconds. The bartender looked over, finally sensing something wrong. I turned away, hunched over my phone. Wait. I'm listening. My brain raced. Options, consequences, paths forward. All of them led to exposure or surrender. What do you want? I want you to stop. Call off your vendors. Let me salvage what's left of this night. And if I don't, then I walk into that ballroom right now and tell Keenan his father orchestrated the entire disaster, that his mother was collateral damage to your ego. Low blow. Accurate, but low. Cora was shaking her head, mouthing, "Stop, please stop." I looked at my phone, at the text threads, at the evening's destruction documented in real time, my son's wedding, ruined, my relationship with him, probably destroyed forever, my revenge, complete, and I felt sick. How did you know? Because I've been doing this for 15 years. I know when problems are natural and when they're coordinated, and I made some calls. Paula won't work another wedding in this city if word gets out. She deliberately endangered someone with allergies. She had leverage, real leverage. What's your offer? Stop now. I'll tell Keenan the vendors had emergencies, technical failures, bad luck. He never knows you were involved. And in exchange, you live with what you've done, and you figure out how to fix your relationship with your son. Because this... A pause. Background noise on her end. Music, voices, the chaos of the wedding. This isn't fixing anything. My hand shook. The phone trembled against my ear. Cora leaned close, whispered, "Take it. End this." My thumb hit the end call button. Madison's voice cut off mid-sentence. Cora grabbed my arm. "Fletcher, she's bluffing." "Is she?" I set my phone face down on the bar. If she tells them, she looks incompetent. Coordinator who couldn't protect the event. Career suicide. You're gambling on her reputation over our son's feelings. Our son gambled with our dignity. I'm just calling. The bartender refilled my glass without asking. Fourth drink, maybe fifth. I'd lost count somewhere between vengeful satisfaction and whatever this new feeling was. Harder, colder, more committed. My phone buzzed. Text from Mike, a server I'd helped get his first catering job 12 years ago. First dance time, no music, couple just standing there, guests starting to laugh, not with them, at them. Video attachment, 15 seconds of Keenan and Eulalia on an empty dance floor, complete silence. They held position for maybe 30 seconds before giving up, walking off in separate directions. Visual representation of marriage strain in the high definition. I watched it 3 times. Cora watched over my shoulder. That's our son, humiliated, in front of everyone. That's our son who humiliated us first. Another text from Mike. Keenan pulled coordinator aside, pissed. She's shaking her head, pointing at exits. He looks like he's going to explode. Then a screenshot from the wedding group chat. I scrolled through guest messages. Is this wedding cursed? Worst wedding I've ever attended, and I've been to 40 plus. Where are the groom's parents? Haven't seen them all night. I heard they were banned from attending. What? Why? No idea, but there were photos of them at entrance with "Do Not Allow" signs. That explains a lot. Maybe they're getting revenge? Guest number 3 deserved detective credit. Sherlock Holmes, with a smartphone and an open bar tab. Portland's finest, right there. My phone buzzed again. Photo from Mike. Caption. Bride in bathroom, total breakdown. MOH trying to calm her. She keeps saying, "Everything's ruined. Everything's ruined. Thought you should know." The image showed Eulalia sitting on a toilet lid, face in hands. Mascara streaked down her cheeks. Her bridesmaid's arm around her shoulders. Custom Vera Wang dress crumpled. Perfection shattered. I stared at it for 10 full seconds. Cora's hand covered my phone screen. "Look at me. Not the phone. Me." I looked up. "Maybe that's enough." "What?" "You've made your point. They're suffering. Maybe we stop now." They banned us, with our photos, like we're criminals. And now their wedding is destroyed, eye for eye. It's done. Is it? Because I still feel like the father who wasn't allowed to see his son get married. More revenge won't change that. No, but it'll make sure they never forget what they did. My phone rang. Keenan's name flashed. 10th call. I let it ring 3 times before swiping to answer. Brought the phone slowly to my ear. Said nothing. "Dad, please, I know you're there. I'm here." His exhale came through sharp with relief. "It's you, isn't it? The photos, the music, everything." "I don't know what you mean." Dad, don't lie to me. The coordinator said she's never seen so many problems at one venue. Said it's statistically impossible. But you know what is possible? You calling in favors. You know every vendor in this city. Do I? Dad, please, I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry about the signs. I'm sorry we didn't... I cut him off. Voice ice. You put our faces on a banned list at your wedding. Your mother cried in the taxi, Did you know that? She cried. It wasn't my idea. Eulalia and Yvonne wanted, and you let them. You're 34 years old, Keenan. You made a choice. His voice broke. I made a mistake, a huge mistake. But Dad, this is my wedding. Please, make it stop. I can't stop what I didn't start. Dad, enjoy your evening, or what's left of it. I hung up, set the phone face down, pushed it away slightly, raised one finger to the bartender for another drink. Cora's voice came quiet. That was cruel. That was honest. You just hung up on our son while he's apologizing. He apologized when he got caught, not before. Not when he put those signs up. So you're perfect? Never made mistakes? I had no answer for that. I've supported you tonight. Don't mistake that for approval. Then why are you still here? Because you're my husband. Because they hurt both of us. But Fletcher, she paused, choosing words carefully. This stops soon, or you stop being the man I married. The bartender was starting to piece things together. He'd poured me 4 drinks, watched me ignore 9 phone calls, and now I'm smiling at a photo of a crying bride. He probably thought I was a psychopath. Fair assessment, honestly. My phone buzzed. Carl? Marco says Madison just offered him $2,000 cash to tell her who put him up to the sound failure. He's thinking about it. Heads up. My stomach dropped. Cora read it over my shoulder. She's not bluffing anymore. She's investigating. I started typing a response. The bar door opened. I glanced up reflexively. Madison walked in, still in her coordinator outfit, black suit, headset around her neck, iPad under her arm. She scanned the bar, spotted me immediately. Our eyes met across the room. She started walking toward us. Cora gripped my arm. What do we do? Madison reached our section of the bar, pulled out the stool next to me without asking, sat down, looked directly at me. Mr. Yates, we need to talk. My carefully constructed plan just walked through the door and sat down next to me. Madison signaled the bartender. Whiskey, neat, top shelf. Her voice was calm, controlled, professional. Mr. Yates, Mrs. Yates, mind if I join you? I kept my voice cautious. That depends on what you're here to say. I'm here to say I know what you did tonight. The photographer, the DJ, the flowers, all of it. Cora shifted into protective mode. We don't know what you're... Madison cut her off. Please, I've coordinated 200 weddings. I know sabotage when I see it, and I know why you did it. Do you? I saw those photos at the entrance, your faces. Do not allow these two inside. I'm not here to judge you. I'm here to say... She paused, took her drink from the bartender. I don't blame you, not even a little bit. I stared at her. Cora's grip on my arm loosened. Why are you telling us this? Because Eulalia Crane and her mother are the worst clients I've had in 10 years, and I once coordinated a wedding where the groom was actively cheating with the maid of honor. Cora leaned forward. What did they do? What didn't they do? Called my assistant an idiot to her face. Changed the menu 4 times after final deadline. Paid deposits weeks late, always with an excuse. Treated my staff like servants. Madison drank. But those photos? That was next level. You saw them being put up? I arrived at 3 p.m. for setup. They were already there. Eulalia said, and I quote, "We don't want any negative energy from judgmental old people ruining our aesthetic." Cora's sharp intake of breath filled the space between us. I told her it was cruel. She said it was necessary boundaries. Her mother wanted metal detectors too. Actual airport security for a wedding. Metal detectors? To keep you out if you tried to crash. I told them that was illegal and insane. We compromised on the photos. Bitter laugh. Some compromise. I processed this new information slowly. You could have refused. Quit. I signed a contract, bills to pay. And honestly, I thought maybe you'd see the photos and just leave quietly. I didn't think you'd... She gestured vaguely. Burn it all down. They treated us like criminals at our son's wedding. I know, and between you and me, watching Eulalia realize her perfect wedding is imploding. Small smile. Not the worst thing I've seen today. Cora's voice held caution. You're taking a risk, telling us this. Maybe, but my reputation survives wedding disasters. It's what I do after that matters. And right now, I'm choosing my dignity over their money. Madison pulled out her phone, scrolled, stopped on something. The cake is scheduled for 9:30, Russo's Bakery. I know Russo's. Of course you do. Everyone in the industry knows everyone. She looked at me directly. One call. I tell them there's been a schedule change. We don't need delivery until midnight. By then, reception's over. No cake cutting, no traditional moment, just nothing. I hesitated. The wedding's already destroyed. Is it though? Dinner's being served. Backup DJ arrived. I removed the lilies. They're recovering. Wounded, but recovering. She leaned in. The cake is the finale. The moment everyone remembers. Take that away, they'll talk about this wedding for years, and not in a good way. I turned to Cora. What do you think? Everyone expected her to say stop, to be the voice of conscience one more time. Do it. I stared at my wife. What? Call the bakery, cancel the cake. Cora, you've been telling me all night to stop. Her voice rose. That was before I heard about the metal detectors, before I learned they called us negative energy, before I realized our son chose a woman who wanted to screen us like terrorists at our own family event. Madison watched, fascinated. Cora turned to her. How big were those photos? 11 by 17, professional printing, framed. Framed. Cora looked at me. They framed our faces like wanted posters. Pause. Cancel the cake. Let them remember what happens when you treat people like garbage. I stared at my wife like I'd never seen her before. Are you sure? I've never been more sure of anything. Madison was already dialing. Hi, Tony. It's Madison Cross. Yes. The Sentinel wedding tonight. Listen, we need to push the cake delivery. No, it's fine. Just schedule confusion. Can we do midnight instead of 9:30? Perfect. No discount needed. Bill the client the full delivery fee. Great, thanks, Tony. She hung up. Done. Just like that. Just like that. Tony owes me. I sent him 3 weddings last month. She finished her whiskey. Welcome to how the industry actually works, Mr. Yates. You taught me well. I never taught you that. No, but you taught everyone else to help each other, to remember favors, to take care of people. She stood. Eulalia and Yvonne forgot that part. They think money buys everything. Tonight, they learn it doesn't. Cora asked, what happens when they ask about the cake? I'll look shocked. I'll call the bakery frantically. I'll discover the miscommunication. I'll apologize profusely. I'll offer a refund on my services. Cold smile. And Eulalia will know, deep down, that somehow, some way, this is still falling apart. She'll suspect you. Let her. She can't prove anything. And even if she could, I'll be the coordinator who tried her best with impossible clients. My reputation stays clean. Madison extended her hand. It was a pleasure not meeting you tonight, Mr. Yates. I shook it, bemused. Likewise? You've got a backbone, Mrs. Yates. I respect that. She looked at both of us. Enjoy the rest of your evening. I know I'll enjoy mine. She walked out. The door closed behind her. Cora stared at her wine glass. I just helped destroy our son's wedding. We both did. Why don't I feel bad? Because they earned it. She looked at me. Or because we're both terrible people. Maybe, but we're terrible together. Small smile. First, real one all night. That's the most romantic thing you've said in years. I raised my glass. To being terrible? Cora finally picked up her wine glass. To being terrible. We clinked, both drank. My phone lit up. 9:32 p.m. Carl. Madison back at venue, asking about cake, looking concerned. Perfect performance. Mike. Coordinator just went to kitchen, came back looking confused, talking to Eulalia. Bride's face is, man, you should see it. Video attachment, 8 seconds. Eulalia's face transitioning from hopeful to confused, to disbelieving, to devastated, as Madison apparently explained the cake situation. I watched it twice. Showed Cora. She watched without expression. We sat in silence. The jukebox started playing You Can't Always Get What You Want by the Rolling Stones. I laughed. Genuine, surprised laugh. Cora joined me. We were laughing in a bar while our son's wedding collapsed 4 blocks away. The bartender shook his head, muttered something about boomers, started cleaning glasses aggressively. My phone rang. Faye's name? London, I answered. Hey, sweetheart. Dad. What the hell did you do? It's all over Portland Twitter. I looked at Cora. Our laughter stopped. The revenge had gone viral. Character count 5,997, part 7. Dad, what the hell did you do? It's all over Portland Twitter. Faye's voice came through sharp from London. 7 in the morning her time. She'd woken up early to check on us. Seeing what? Twitter, Instagram, it's everywhere. Hashtag Yates wedding, fail is trending in Portland. I looked at Cora. We're trending. What does that mean? Faye explained it meant everyone in Portland with a smartphone knew about Keenan's disaster wedding. Videos of the ceremony music failing. Photos of the empty cake table. Someone had even posted the banned photos of us from the entrance. My stomach sank. The entrance photos are online? Everywhere. People are calling it cruel and dystopian. The comments are, well, they're on your side, actually. But Dad, this is bigger than you planned, right? I set my glass down carefully. Yeah, bigger than I planned. I pulled up Twitter on my phone, started scrolling. The hashtag was real. Dozens of posts, videos, commentary. Imagine banning your own parents from your wedding with framed photos. Karma is real. This wedding is a masterclass in what not to do. Everything that could go wrong did. Update. Now there's no cake either. This bride can't catch a break. Then one that made my blood cold. Plot twist. What if the groom's parents are orchestrating this? Would be legendary revenge. I showed Cora. Someone's figured it out. They're guessing. They don't know. Yet. My phone buzzed. Mike. Coordinator just came back from phone call. Looks shocked. Going to bride and groom now. 30 seconds later, she told them, Eulalia just collapsed. Not fainting, just gave up. Sitting in a chair staring at nothing. Then, Mobe, Yvonne, is screaming at coordinator. Like, red-faced screaming. Guests backing away. I told Cora, Madison's earning her fee. Her voice held no humor. So are we, in karma. More updates flooded in. Instagram stories showing the empty cake table. Photos of Eulalia in that chair, blank-faced. A carousel post titled, Wedding Fail of the Century, with laugh-crying emojis. I read the caption aloud. Wedding Fail of the Century. That's what we did. We created the wedding fail of the century. They created it. We just helped it along. Cora looked at me. Do you believe that? Pause. I'm trying to. My phone rang. Keenan again. I answered without thinking, brought it slowly to my ear, said nothing. Dad, please, I know you're there. Silence stretched, then Mike's text. Yo, Fletcher, something's happening. Keenan's taking the microphone. I put the phone on speaker. Background noise, feedback. Then Keenan's voice came through amplified. Hey everyone, can I have your attention? Murmurs quieted. I know tonight's been a disaster. I know you're all wondering what's going on, why everything's going wrong. Pause. I know why. Eulalia's distant voice. Keenan, what are you? It's my parents, my mom and dad. They're not here tonight because I hurt them. Really badly. The ballroom went silent. You could hear it through the phone. I froze at the bar. What is he doing? Cora gripped my arm. Shh, listen. Keenan continued. His voice broke slightly. When you came in tonight, some of you saw photos at the entrance. Photos of two people with signs saying, don't let them in. Those people were my parents, Fletcher and Cora Yates. Pause for effect. Or maybe just emotion. I allowed that. I saw those photos go up, and I didn't stop it. I told myself it was about boundaries, about my new life, about making my wife happy, but really, I was weak. I chose to hurt the two people who raised me, who paid for my college, who taught me everything important in my life. Keenan, stop. No, everyone needs to hear this. My parents saw those photos and left. Without a scene, without yelling, they just left. With dignity I didn't show them. Stronger now? And honestly, after what I did, they have every right to be angry, every right to want nothing to do with this wedding. Maybe everything going wrong tonight is karma. Maybe it's coincidence. But either way, I earned it, guest murmurs rising. So if you're posting about this wedding online, if you're laughing about our disaster, just know, my parents aren't here because their son failed them. That's the real story, not the missing cake, not the bad music. Me, I failed them. Microphone feedback as he set it down. I stared at my phone, couldn't speak. Cora's eyes filled with tears. He defended us. He blamed himself, in front of everyone. The bartender who'd been listening asked quietly, "That your son?" I nodded. "Sounds like a good kid who made a mistake. Also sounds like he just apologized, publicly." Pause. "What are you gonna do?" I kept staring at my phone. "I don't know." Mike's voice came through. "Fletcher, you there? That was... Man, I wasn't expecting that. Half the guests are crying. The other half look uncomfortable as hell. What do you want me to..." I ended the call. "Fletcher, I need a minute." Cora leaned forward. He apologized. He took responsibility. "I know." He defended our right to be angry. "I know." "So why do you look like you're about to be sick?" Long pause. My hands were shaking. "Because I destroyed his wedding. Publicly. Completely. And he just fell on his sword for me." The words came harder. "He humiliated himself to restore my honor, and I wasn't even there to hear it. We could go and say what? Thanks for the speech, son, but we actually did orchestrate all this. Your instincts were right. We sabotaged your wedding because we were hurt." Cora's voice went quiet. "Maybe we went too far." "Maybe?" Bitter laugh. "Cora, our son just took a microphone at his own disaster wedding and told 150 guests he deserved it. That's not maybe. That's definitely." I put my head in my hands. The bartender poured me water instead of whiskey. Even he could see I needed to sober up. My phone buzzed. "Madison. You need to see this. Now." Link to Twitter. I clicked it. Video posted 2 minutes ago. The caption, "Mother of bride exposes truth about groom's parents. This wedding keeps giving." My blood went cold. "Cora, Yvonne's talking." We watched together. Yvonne at the microphone, her voice amplified. "Don't let Keenan fool you. His parents aren't victims. They're toxic manipulators who tried to control every aspect of this wedding." My jaw clenched. "She's lying." The video continued. "Fletcher Yates even threatened to ruin this wedding if we didn't do things his way. That's not... She's rewriting history, making us the villains." The video showed Keenan trying to take the mic from Yvonne. She wouldn't let go, guests murmuring, some looking convinced. I stood abruptly. "We're going. To the wedding. To stop a liar." The taxi driver kept glancing in his rearview mirror. I was gripping my phone hard enough that the screen protector cracked slightly. On the phone screen, Yvonne's performance continued. They refused to contribute financially unless we followed their demands. When we said no, Fletcher threatened us, explicitly told us he'd make sure this wedding failed if we didn't obey him. Cora's voice shook with anger. "She's lying. You never said that. You offered help and Eulalia turned it down." "I know that. You know that. But who's going to believe us now?" The taxi driver cleared his throat. "Sorry, is everything okay?" "Just drive." I pulled up Yvonne's video again, watched her theatrical gestures. We had to ban them from the wedding for our own safety, for Eulalia's mental health. These people spent 30 years manipulating their son, and when they couldn't control his wife, they lashed out. She was getting momentum. Look around. Every disaster tonight, they have connections in this industry. Who do you think orchestrated this? Guest murmurs, some nodding, Keenan trying to grab the mic. "Mom, stop. That's not..." Yvonne pulling away. "Keenan's been brainwashed to defend them. That's what toxic parents do. They make you feel guilty for having boundaries, for choosing your own family. Give me the microphone." The video cut off as Keenan finally wrestled it away. Cora grabbed my arm. "We have to get there. We have to defend ourselves." "Against what? A crying mother defending her daughter?" We walk in there. We look like the villains she's describing. "So we just let her lie?" I was already dialing. "No. We let the truth speak for itself." "What truth?" "Eulalia's own words." Faye answered on the first ring. "What happened?" "Yvonne's at the wedding, telling everyone we're toxic manipulators who tried to control the wedding and threatened sabotage." "That's bullshit." "I know it's bullshit. I need to prove it's bullshit." "Eulalia has Facebook, right?" "Everyone has Facebook, Dad." "Can you access her posts, old ones, from before the wedding?" Pause. She was catching on. "You think she posted about you?" "I know she posted about us. She's a PR manager. She lives on social media. Find posts about us, about the wedding planning, about money, anything contradicting Yvonne's story." That's Dad, that's kinda brilliant. Hang on. Keyboard sounds. Her profile's public. Rookie mistake for a PR person. Let me scroll. Fast, please. I'm scrolling as fast as humanly. Wait, oh. What? Dad, this is gold. I put her on speaker. Cora leaned in. Faye read. October 2023. Keenan's parents offered to help with wedding costs again. So uncomfortable. We're trying to build our life, not live in their shadow. 127 likes. Cora's voice came vindicated. We offered. She refused. December 2023. Future Mill keeps suggesting we use family traditions for wedding. No offense, but this is 2023, not 1975. We want modern, not old people drama. 89 likes. I repeated it slowly. Old people drama. January 2024. Why do parents think their money means they get opinions? We said no to financial help specifically to avoid this. Boundaries matter. 156 likes. Screenshot everything. Already on it, there's more. April 2024. Keenan's dad keeps saying he knows all the best vendors in Portland. Cool flex, but we're hiring based on our aesthetic, not his Rolodex. With an eye roll emoji, Cora looked at me. You were trying to help. My voice came quiet. Apparently I was flexing. I gave Faye Mike's number. Send screenshots to him. Tell him to get them to Keenan. What about posting them publicly, under the hashtag? Can you do it without it tracing to you? Please, I have friends with burner accounts. We do this for fun. That was mildly concerning, but do it. Sending to Mike now. Give me 5 minutes to coordinate public post. You're a terrifying person. I learned from the best. Love you, Dad. The taxi pulled up to the Sentinel. I paid the driver, tipped him $40. He'd earned it for the full show he'd witnessed. We entered through the side door, not the main entrance with its banned photos. The ballroom opened before us, Yvonne still near the microphone. Guests divided into small clusters, phones out, arguing quietly. We stood at the back. Nobody noticed us initially. Then I saw Keenan, phone in hand, face white, reading something. A guest had shown him the screenshots. Eulalia noticed his expression, came over, saw what he was looking at, tried to take his phone. He pulled away. Their voices rose enough to hear from across the room. This post, December, old people drama. You wrote that about my parents. That was private. It has 89 likes. You posted it publicly. I was venting. You vent to me about work. I don't post it on Facebook. And this one, April. My dad was trying to help and you called it flexing. He was being pushy. He was offering vendor recommendations. He spent 40 years in this industry. Eulalia's voice went defensive. Your mother kept trying to take over. Show me one message where she tried to take over. One. Pause. You can't, because she didn't. They backed off every time you asked. They offered money and you refused. They offered help and you called it drama. He looked at her differently. Your mom is out there telling everyone my parents are toxic manipulators. But these posts, they make you sound like the problem. Keenan turned, scanned the room, found us at the back. His mouth formed the word, Dad? I nodded once. Eulalia followed his gaze, saw us. Her face drained of color. Yvonne noticed the commotion, saw us. You have some nerve. Keenan's voice cut through the ballroom. Stop talking. Everyone went quiet. Everything you just said about my parents, lies. I have proof. He held up his phone. Eulalia's own posts. She refused their help. She mocked them publicly. She called them old people drama. Yvonne stammered. That's out of context. There's no context where this is okay. To the guests, my parents offered to help pay for this wedding, multiple times. Eulalia turned them down because she wanted boundaries. Then tonight, you, pointing at Yvonne, told everyone they refused to help? That's a lie. A documented, provable lie. Yvonne's voice rose defensively. Keenan, you don't understand the whole situation. I understand you just lied to 150 people about my parents at my wedding. I was protecting Eulalia. From what? From people who tried to help us? People whose worst crime was being helpful? Yvonne's voice broke. Tears started. You don't know what it's like to watch your daughter marry someone and know that his family thinks you're not good enough, that they'll always have more money, more connections, more. Mom, that's not. We came from nothing. Your father left us for someone with a bigger house, a better job. I swore when you got married, you'd have the wedding I never had. Perfect. Yours, not theirs. To Keenan, your parents with their offers, their vendor lists, we just want to help. It felt like they were buying you, like we weren't enough. Silence filled the ballroom. Keenan's voice came softer but firm. So you made them the enemy, to feel better about yourself. Yvonne crumbled. I just wanted Eulalia to have one day that was hers. You got that. Look around. He gestured at the disaster wedding. It's definitely unique. Then Keenan crossed the ballroom. Guests parted. He walked toward us. Eulalia reached for him. Keenan, wait. He didn't stop. Madison appeared at my elbow, whispered, Should I call security? I shook my head. Keenan stopped 3 feet away. Father and son. Hadn't been this close in months. His eyes were red, face blotchy. The backup photographer was capturing everything. Dad, I'm so sorry. I opened my mouth. No words came. Cora's hand found mine. For the photos, for believing them, for not. He couldn't finish. I managed. Keenan. But Eulalia was there suddenly, between us, facing Cora and me. This is your fault, all of it. You couldn't just let us have one day. Eulalia, don't. Her voice rose, louder, to the room. They did this. The photos, the music, the cake. They sabotaged our wedding. Look at them. They're here to gloat. Every phone in the room rose. Recording. My heart stopped. Every phone in the room rose. Recording. Eulalia's finger jabbed toward us. They sabotaged our wedding. The photos, the music, the cake. Look at them. They're here to gloat. My mouth opened. Nothing came out. Keenan's hand shot up between us. No, Dad, don't. He turned to Eulalia, started removing his boutonniere slowly, deliberately, dropped it on the floor. Eulalia, stop talking. They destroyed our wedding. We destroyed our wedding. You, me, your mother, we put their faces on banned posters. That was about boundaries. That was about cruelty. And you know what? Even if they did orchestrate every disaster tonight, which I'm not saying they did, we had it coming. Eulalia stared at him. Are you defending them? I'm stating facts. Your Facebook posts calling them old people drama. Your mother's lies about them not supporting us financially. The metal detectors she wanted. Yeah, Eulalia, I heard about that. Pause. My parents offered help. You refused. My parents tried to be involved. You blocked them. My parents existed. You resented it. Keenan started walking toward the exit. Eulalia grabbed his arm. Keenan, you're upset. Let's go somewhere private. He removed her hand gently. I'm going to talk to my parents. You can't just leave our wedding. He looked around the ballroom. Disaster, cameras, chaos. What wedding? It's over, Eulalia. It's been over since the moment we put up those photos. Your parents are manipulating you. No, you and your mother manipulated me. I was just too blind to see it. He walked. Guests parted, every phone following his path. If you leave, don't come back. He stopped, turned. Okay. And walked out. Eulalia stood frozen in the center of the empty dance floor, the floor where their first dance never happened. Cora pulled me toward the side exit. We retreated to the lobby, my heart hammering, phone buzzing in my pocket, Keenan calling. Dad, where are you? We're in the lobby. We left when Eulalia started accusing. Can you come outside? I need to talk to you. Keenan, maybe you should go back inside. I'm not going back in there. I'm done. Please come outside. Pause. Cora's hand gripped mine. We're coming. We found him under a streetlight, still in his tuxedo. Boutonniere gone, standing like he wasn't sure his legs would hold. He saw us. His face crumpled. 34 years old, crying like a child. I'm so sorry. I stopped several feet away. Keenan? No, let me say this. I was an idiot. A complete idiot. I let Eulalia and Yvonne convince me you were the problem, that you were controlling, manipulative, toxic. I believed them over you. Cora's voice came quiet. They're very convincing. He shook his head hard. That's not an excuse. You're my parents. You raised me. You were never anything but supportive. And I I let them put your faces on those signs like you were criminals. Tears now. I saw those signs go up and I didn't stop it. I told myself it was about boundaries. But it was cowardice. I was scared Eulalia would call off the wedding if I stood up to her. She might have. I know. And that should have told me something. He wiped his face. I chose wrong. I chose her over you. And tonight, watching everything fall apart, watching her mother lie, reading Eulalia's posts about you, I realized I've been choosing wrong for months. I took a step closer. I didn't want this. Want what? Your wedding destroyed, your relationship ending, you standing here crying on what should be the happiest night of your life. Bitter laugh. This was never going to be the happiest night of my life, not with my parents' band. Cora gestured to a bench near the entrance. Keenan, sweetie, come sit down. We moved together, sat. Keenan between us. He put his head in his hands. Did you do it? Did you sabotage the wedding? Long pause. Would it change anything if I said yes? He looked up. I don't know, maybe. But honestly, I don't care. Those posts of Eulalia's, they're worse than anything you could have done. At least your actions were in response to being hurt. Her posts, she mocked you for months, for being generous, for offering help, for existing. She's young, she made mistakes. She's 31, she's a PR manager, she knows better than to post that publicly. And her mother, lying to everyone about you not supporting us financially? While we're at the wedding, my parents weren't allowed to attend? He shook his head. No, this is on us. On me. Cora asked, what happens now? I don't know. Eulalia and I don't see how we come back from this. I said carefully. You love her? I thought I did. But how can I love someone who spent months insulting my parents online? Who let her mother lie about you? Who wanted metal detectors to keep you out? Pause. What kind of marriage starts like this? A broken one? Yeah. Silence stretched. Portland night around us. Wedding disaster behind us. I'm sorry. For all of it. For the signs. For not defending you. For letting this go so far. I pulled him into a side hug. I'm sorry too. For what? The words stuck in my throat. For destroying your wedding. For orchestrating every disaster. For making you choose. Cora saved me. For not being at your wedding, even if we weren't welcome, we should have handled it differently. You handled it with more grace than I deserved. More silence. Then, can I stay with you tonight? I can't go back to our apartment. Of course, always. He stood, looked back at the hotel. My wedding night, sitting on a bench with my parents instead of dancing with my wife. I stood too. Is it strange that I'm glad you're here? No, it's the first thing that's made sense all night. We started walking to my car. Keenan stopped. Dad, did you really orchestrate everything? I met his eyes. Does it matter? He studied my face. You did. I can see it. The way you're not denying it. I said nothing. Unexpected smile. Good. They deserved it. What? I'm not saying it was right. I'm saying I understand. Pause. And honestly, after tonight, I'm grateful. Better to learn who Eulalia really is now than after we had kids. I couldn't respond. Victory felt too hollow for gratitude. We drove home through Portland's night. In the rearview mirror, I watched my son fall asleep in the back seat, exhausted, escaped, safe. Cora's hand covered mine on the steering wheel. What have we done? I whispered. She didn't answer. There was no good answer. 2 months later, I sat on my porch swing watching the street, coffee going cold beside me. Late August heat settling over northwest Portland. A car pulled up. Keenan's car. He sat in the driver's seat for a full minute before getting out. Hey, Dad. Keenan. I stood slowly. You look thin. Haven't been eating much. He reached the porch steps, paused. Can I come in? The question surprised me. You never have to ask. After everything, I wasn't sure. Come in, son. Inside, I made coffee. He took his old seat at the kitchen table, same spot from childhood. I brought him coffee the way he liked it. Milk, no sugar, muscle memory of parenthood. Mom at work. Consulting job downtown, back around 6. How is she? Worried about you. We both are. I'm okay. I sat across from him. You drove here after 6 weeks of silence. You're not okay. Small smile. Fair point. His left hand wrapped around the coffee mug. No wedding ring. Tan line visible where it used to be. He kept touching the spot. Eulalia and I are done, I said carefully. I'm sorry. Are you? I met his eyes finally. Yes. I didn't want you heartbroken. You wanted me away from her. I wanted you to see who she was. That's different from wanting you hurt. He nodded, drank coffee. Well, I saw, clearly, repeatedly. After the wedding, we tried. We really did. Stayed at a hotel that night, talked for hours. She blamed you, your mom, her mother, the vendors, Mercury and retrograde probably. Everyone but herself. And you? I blame myself, for the photos, for not standing up to her, for choosing her over you. We were blaming different things. That should have told me something. He explained the rest. 2 weeks later, Eulalia suggested they do the wedding over. Full reset. Same vendors, same ballroom. Proved to everyone it could work. Price tag, $50,000. I whistled low. I said no. She said I wasn't committed to our relationship. I said I wasn't committed to throwing money at her ego. She cried. I didn't budge. First time I'd ever said no to her about something big. Pause. Felt good, honestly. When did it end? Month ago, she moved out, left her key on the counter, texted, I deserve someone who chooses me. I replied, I chose you over my parents for a year. You chose your image over me. She blocked my number. I'm sorry you're going through this. Don't be. You were right. I didn't want to be right. Not like this. What did you want? Long pause. I wanted you to see that those photos were wrong, that we didn't deserve to be banned from your wedding. I wanted acknowledgement, apology, respect. You got all three. At the cost of your relationship, which was built on me disrespecting you. So, what exactly did I lose? Bitter edge. A fiancé who called you old people drama on Facebook? A mother-in-law who lied about you to 100 guests? Yeah, Dad, what a loss. You loved her. I loved who I thought she was. Big difference. Quiet settled. Then, I wasted so much time, a year and a half with someone who didn't respect my family, who mocked you for being generous, who made me choose between her and you, then acted like it was your fault when everything fell apart. You're 34. You have time. Do I? I'm single, living in an apartment that still has her stuff in boxes I can't look at, working a job I hate, and estranged from half my friends because they support Eulalia through this difficult time. Air quotes. At 34, I should be married with kids. Instead, I'm starting over. The door opened. Cora. Neither of us had heard her arrive. You look terrible. Keenan laughed despite himself. Thanks. I'm not going to lie to you to make you feel better. You look like you haven't slept in weeks. I haven't. Then stay here tonight, tomorrow night, however long you need. I cleared my throat. Keenan, I need to say something. Okay? The wedding, everything that went wrong. He interrupted. You orchestrated it. I know. I stared. You know? I'm not stupid, Dad. Carl's AV company, Nina the photographer you mentored, Paula's flowers, Madison suddenly helping you. I know the event industry in this city. I know your reputation. I know your reach. Pause. You made 8 phone calls and destroyed my wedding in 2 hours. It's okay. How is it okay? Because they made you? Eulalia and Yvonne created the situation. You just responded. Pause. Was it right? Probably not. Do I understand it? Completely. Would I do the same if someone put my parents' faces on a banned poster? Bitter laugh. I hope so, since I clearly didn't the first time. My phone rang. I glanced at it. It's Faye. Answer it. I did. Put it on speaker. Dad, is Keenan there? I've been trying his cell. He's here. Put me on speaker. Already done. Keenan, you absolute disaster. Answer your phone. He laughed. Hi, Faye. Hi yourself. Listen, I have news. Good news for once. We could use good news. I'm pregnant. Stunned silence. Cora squealed. What? Surprise. 12 weeks. I want to come home. Portland home. For a few months. I want my baby's grandparents close by. Dad, can we stay with you? First real smile in months spread across my face. Your old room's waiting. After the call ended, Cora said, We're going to be grandparents. Again, better this time. Keenan's voice came quiet. Again? We always thought we'd be grandparents through your kids. Maybe someday. Different kids, different mother. When you're ready, no rush. I stood, restless. I need to show you both something. I went to the garage, came back with 2 framed 11 by 17 photos, the band portraits. Keenan's shock. You kept them? Cora equally surprised. Fletcher, where did you get those? I went back the next day, Sunday. Hotel was cleaning up. I asked the manager if I could have them. He looked at me like I was crazy, but he gave them to me. Why would you keep those? I ran my finger over the "do not allow these 2 inside" text. Because they're proof. Of what? That it happened, that it was real, that we didn't imagine the cruelty. Pause. And so I remember. Remember what? I looked up at my son. That dignity matters. That respect isn't optional. That you don't let people treat you like criminals, even if they're family, even if it costs you everything. To Keenan. These portraits cost me my son for 2 months, cost you your fiancé, cost our family peace. But they taught all of us something important. What? That some prices are too high, and some things, like family dignity, aren't for sale, not even for a wedding. Are you going to display them? No, but I'm keeping them. I looked at the photos. As a reminder of what we survived. Keenan touched his portrait. I look so happy here. This was from Facebook, Costa Rica vacation. I remember. Eulalia took this photo. We'd been dating 6 months. I was so in love, I couldn't see straight. Pause. It's strange seeing it used like a weapon. That's what it was. Yeah, he stood. I should go. Stay for dinner, please. I don't want to impose. You're not imposing. You're our son. Stay. He nodded. Okay, thanks. Later, evening settling, I stood on the porch again. Keenan's car still in the driveway. Through the window, I could see him and Cora laughing about something in the kitchen. The portraits leaned against the wall beside me. I studied my own face in the photo. Younger, happy, before everything. That man in the photo didn't know what was coming. I picked up the portraits, carried them back to the garage, didn't throw them away, didn't hang them, stacked them carefully on a shelf, face down. Reminder and warning and proof all at once. Went back inside. Keenan looked up, smiled. Mom's telling me about nursery plans for Faye. I joined them at the table. Family, broken, healing, changed, but together. Outside, Portland evenings settled in. Summer ending, fall coming. The wedding was 2 months ago. The revenge was complete, the cost was paid. And I sat at my kitchen table with my son, wondering if I'd do it all again. I didn't know the answer. That was the truth I lived with. If you like this story, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share your impressions of this story in the comments. To listen to the next story, click on the box on the left. Thank you for watching. Or